Welcome everybody to the Arraya Insights Expert Q&A. I'm Chuck Kiessling, Senior Director of Infrastructure Pre-Sales and part-time late night radio DJ. And with me today, I have Kyle Dillon, a Senior Network Solutions Architect with Arraya. Thanks for joining me today, Kyle.
Thanks, Chuck.
So today, I thought you and I could have just a quick conversation about some SD-WAN. I haven't really played with many networks in years and years. And for those people that are kind of similar to me, that maybe they understand the original concept of WAN, why don't you kind of give us an overview of what SD-WAN actually is?
Sure. So SD-WAN, basically, it's taking your traditional WAN transports, your internet, MPLS links, NAs for your businesses, and running a dynamic VPN overlay over them. So it's basically putting smart routers out there that used to handle all your WAN transports and doing IPsec tunnels everywhere. The big difference between, a traditional site-to-site tunnel, what we used for years versus what SD-WAN can offer now is that the dynamic capabilities of it. It can fail over. It has intelligence to it. It can read the tunnel and the latency on the traffic, and it's able to provide real-time statistics and reroute traffic as it needs to go. So the big thing is it's taking your old static WAN transports and taking them out of the equation. You collect a bunch of them, you aggregate them together, and SD-WAN utilizes them as multiple paths dynamically using a VPN overlay. So you're not restrained by traditional methods of routing and capabilities like that. You have a controller-based mindset with policies that you implement. So the big thing to that is you can tie it into cloud implementations, which are everywhere now. So for instance, like Cisco offers Viptela, which is basically their master product for SD-WAN. What you can do with Viptela is you can join different sites with the routers that they put out there, flip it to SD-WAN code, and you're able to create policies in your SD-WAN deployment that prioritize on-ramp traffic towards Azure, towards AWS, and you do this strictly by policy. You don't need to use traditional old QoS methods.
So, it sounds like there's a lot of benefits to going with SD-WAN, in the software-defined approach, if you will. If you had to kind of pinpoint maybe 4 or 5 of the key benefits of going SD-WAN over something traditional, what do you think those benefits would be?
First would be costs. The big thing about SD-WAN is that the idea is that to get away from expensive MPLS links in lieu of cheap broadband links, because you're forming IPsec tunnels over whatever transport, it doesn't matter. But the idea is that, traditional WAN circuits, dark fiber, MPLS, they're more expensive, and broadband has come about throughout the years and it's a lot cheaper. So the idea is that you can, form SD-WAN overlays over these cheaper offerings, and you can get rid of your traditional legacy WAN links, or you can even utilize them. Say, a lot of customers struggle they have their branch sites set up in these kind of failover scenarios where they'll utilize their 10 meg MPLS link, and if it goes down, they've got a 1 gig internet link. But with SD-WAN, you could utilize both actively. It'll forward traffic over either, whichever one has less congestion, prioritizes traffic, all that kind of dynamicness happens with it. And it's all consolidated and usually in a single dashboard that can be managed by cloud. Though they do offer on-prem appliances, but the idea is that you can reach it from anywhere and that it's resilient.
Okay, so do you feel like from an SD-WAN perspective, it's for the cloud providers would kind of deem that as almost like cloud optimized? It's designed for cloud in mind, as opposed to you can also use it with the cloud. Does that statement make sense?
I'd say it's a big race right now with all the major vendors like Cisco and VMware and all of them with their offerings to basically provide some sort of feature or option in their technologies that provide optimal access to the cloud, be it software as a service or network as a service or infrastructure as a service, all that kind of stuff. Cisco with Viptela, they have an on-ramp feature where if you've got DX links or whatever Azure's a direct connect link to the cloud, you can actually run tunnels over them and prioritize traffic up to them. It's literally a feature you just turn on in the actual GUI, and it just looks at your environment. It reaches out towards a couple key collectors on Azure and AWS, pings them for latency, for responsiveness, and can actually prioritize traffic across them. You can also do it on Meraki. Meraki has rules that you can build into their MX appliances that prioritize software as a services like Office 365 and Salesforce and all that, but it's not as strong as Viptela. Viptela is more the big boy there.
So let me kind of ask you the interesting question, because generally when you were looking at some of the networking components in the past, especially when WAN came into play, you'd buy your edge devices, right? That's just kind of a hard cost. This is what it costs, and then you had your ISP. So when I'm looking at SD-WAN, what kind of licensing / purchasing options am I looking at for something like that?
For Viptela, you pay for basically the true use bandwidth per site. So if you've got a site that's got a 10 meg link, but you're using 2 meg, you will pay for kind of a licensing with DNA subscriptions around it. Meraki uses it's just a feature that you add on to their MX appliances, and it's a perpetual subscription, similar to any of their other stuff.
So do you feel like a lot of these providers are starting to lean more and more towards the almost like as a service type of model? So like the subscriptions versus the capital purchase of some of this stuff, or do you still see there being a major play for capital purchases?
Cisco's coming into the realm now with network as a service. They've got an offering, Cisco Plus. Right now it's just hybrid cloud compute, where they basically offer you bare metal servers and you pay on a consumption model similar to Azure, AWS when you purchase storage or VMs from them. But they're slowly expanding their offerings to more on the network side. They're trying to offer secure access services edge as basically a solution. So they give you like an MX, and they'll offer Umbrella and Duo and all that as a package to secure your WAN edge. But network as a service seems to be the new hot item right now.
All right. Yeah. So it sounds like, across the board, the industry is continuing to adapt as things grow and as things change and as we experience certain scenarios like the pandemic. So let me kind of wrap it with one last question with you. If you had to predict over the next year what you think is going to be a hot item, what do you think?
I think it's going to keep going with the pandemic itself has proven that we can work from home. And Cisco did a remote workforce study that already showed that a large portion of companies are not coming back to the offices. They're going to continue working from home. So cybersecurity is still going to be on the forefront, with multi-factor auth being adapted for all these remote users. There's going to be more VPN for any kind of remote access you need into the offices. All the stuff that's part of the Secure Access Services Edge platform, SASE. I know you don't like me saying that, but the SASE, the Gartner terms for SASE architecture, that's not going away, and it's going to be more prevalent.
Let's definitely keep track and see how that prediction pans out. I really appreciate the time today. I know I got a lot out of the short conversation that we had. So again, I appreciate you joining me. And for all those viewers out there, I appreciate the time. Be sure to check out our other videos at arrayasolutions.com, as well as our YouTube channel. All of these sessions are also an audio podcast if you'd like to listen to it that way. So check us out on SoundCloud. Thanks, everybody. Look for you next time.